You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, thousands of Americans are hitting the road this Thanksgiving holiday. Our very own Lonnie Walton visits with a few travelers passing through the 4 states to see what's bringing them to our area.
Also, the Neosho Fire Department receives a grant that will help with the safety of their firefighters.
And look at this. We've got mostly cloudy skies to start our day. We'll have some isolated shower chances this afternoon and a cold night and holiday ahead of us. So look at that forecast. Get you out the door. Coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 o'clock on this Thursday. No, it's not Thursday yet. It's Wednesday, November. I'm getting excited for Thanksgiving. November 27th. It is tomorrow is when it's Thanksgiving. It is not today. So if you're waking up, I feel bad. If you're just waking up, you tune in and you hear me say it's Thursday. You're like, I don't have the turkey ready.
The panic.
Yeah, sorry for that brief panic. But it's not Thanksgiving yet. It is tomorrow, and a lot of folks traveling to get where they're going for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, holiday travel is definitely underway, and millions are already hitting the highways, including tens of thousands traveling to or through the 4 states.
KOAM's Lonnie Walton caught up with a few travelers to find out why they're passing through.
Wow. It's beautiful. Slower pace of life.
Brian Griffin is headed to Branson. He says this is where his family meets in the middle.
My parents are from Texas. My brother lives in North Carolina, so we kind of meet in the middle.
It's not only the nice scenery that brings travelers here, but it's the community.
Roads are clean. It's people are nice.
I love the trees. I'm from Texas, so we don't have too many trees where I'm from.
Although some travelers may love the area, just not how it feels, especially when you're from the South.
Cold. Well, we came here from California.
Some people are just passing through looking for an adventure.
We love Branson.
Just all the rides in Silver Dollar City and like the Butterfly Palace.
And most importantly, spending time with family.
My mom's side of the family, and her family too as well.
Our son and daughter-in-law and 3 kids who live there.
There are some things Griffin is not too fond of, and a lot of people may agree.
You know what's hard to get used to though from California is the toll booths. Every so often, I went, oh man, how am I going to get billed for this?
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, they may not like the toll booths, but many of the travelers we spoke to also say they love the Joplin gas prices.
Yeah, it is significantly cheaper here across the in Joplin and across our region as a whole, which is fantastic. And if you're traveling, whether you're traveling out of the area or maybe you're staying local, it's going to shower today. You need to be prepared for that. We're going to tell you also about those showers and what could happen tonight with them. Let's start, though, with a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. There are mostly cloudy skies, and the reason it's called mostly cloudy is because, well, most of the sky is blocked by clouds, but you can see there's still some light trying to get through out there. We take a look, though. Otherwise, looking good. We're about 15 degrees warmer than where we were at this time yesterday morning. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. It is mostly cloudy there as well. There's a few less vehicles on the road this morning, but of course that will begin to change. All right, future track by noon. Low pressure almost right over Newton County. Ahead of it, between now and roughly noon, we're going to have south winds. And they'll be gusting upwards of about 20 to 25 miles an hour. Behind this, they shift out of the north, gusting 25, maybe 30, and they do bring some isolated shower chances with them. These will be isolated to widely scattered. Not everybody will see rain, but at least some of us will. And what we're talking about with the rain is while it will be warm enough that it will be rain when it falls in our area, tonight temperatures drop. And so the concern is areas where the rain doesn't completely dry, especially bridges, overpasses, could freeze. So you want to watch out for the potential for some patchy black ice here and there tomorrow morning. I think the chances are pretty low, but just as a heads up. We're sitting at 41, Joplin and in Pittsburgh. You got some upper 30s out there, and we're doing all right otherwise. It looks like Sedan back to being the cold spot along with Independence at 36. We got some low 40s for the rest of us. Highs today, low 50s for most, but some upper 40s, especially our northern counties possible. Mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. We'll have those shower chances between about noon and 7. We're going to take a look at your Thanksgiving Day forecast as well as your travel forecast for today here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. Delaware County, Oklahoma authorities are looking for answers in an apparent double murder-suicide involving a mother and her 2 children. The 3 bodies were discovered in an abandoned vehicle on State Highway 85 and 340 Road, east of Ketchum, Oklahoma, over the weekend. Authorities now say the mother was 38-year-old Alicia Pena of Tulsa. The children were a 7-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office believes Pena shot her 2 children before shooting herself. Authorities are still investigating and say they don't know what brought the family to the Grand Lake area. A Missouri judge rules a law banning some medical procedures for transgender minors is constitutional. Monday's ruling upheld a new state law that bans some gender-affirming health care for minors, such as surgery and medications. Supporters of the ban call the ruling a victory as similar lawsuits in other states continue to play out. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey said in a statement, quote, "I'm extremely proud of the thousands of hours my office put in to shine a light on the lack of evidence supporting these irreversible procedures." Missouri is among at least 26 states adopting laws restricting or banning gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors, including Arkansas and Oklahoma. Lambda Legal and the ACLU of Missouri responded in a joint statement in which said, in part, the ruling would deny transgender adolescents and Medicaid beneficiaries from their right to access evidence-based, effective, and often life-saving medical care. The organizations say they plan to appeal the ruling. Neosho, Missouri firefighters will be a little bit safer thanks to a $10,000 grant from Newton County Public Safety. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has the details on how the funds will benefit the firehouse.
One of the things is you want to have your gear immediately.
Leif Hayward is a firefighter at Neosho Fire Department, and he says the new extractor washer and dryer they purchased with the grant makes washing their gear much more convenient.
Huge time constraint that would take place would have to get us out here earlier than what we normally would.
Before the grant, there was only an extractor washer and dryer at Fire Station 1. The grant allowed them to purchase another set for Fire Station 2, so the firefighters don't have to take away time from responding to emergencies to travel and wash their gear. He says having the new extractor washer and dryer has already started giving them more time to focus on responding to calls.
This morning we caught a call. Jason and I got here 20 minutes before shift, so we were able to actually take that call. If we didn't have our stuff ready at that point, we wouldn't have been able to.
Huge for us just to be able to have this here in our stations and not to have to transport it anymore, not to have to send it out to be washed, not to have to do anything extra. It's a relief.
The extractor washer and dryer removes hazardous contaminants from their gear that may have accumulated during emergency responses.
Don't want to wear your stuff twice with all the carcinogens and everything like that.
According to the National Institute for Occupational Health and Safety, firefighters have a 9% higher risk of developing cancer than the general U.S. population.
When we come in and do our job every day, every shift, that our stuff is clean, that we're not cross-contaminating patients that we might see out in the field on a car wreck, or cross-contamination that might actually go home with us from our gear where we've had contact with that.
These washer and dryers will increase the longevity of the gear and ensure that hazardous contaminants are removed.
So it's a peace of mind.
Reporting in Neosho, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The Neosho Fire Department applied for this grant in an effort to prioritize the safety of their firefighters and avoid long-term exposures to chemicals. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Rafi Adonian is with us this morning to share a little history of the first Thanksgiving. But first, here's a live look from the Humboldt Bridge for Historic Bridge Awareness Month. With one of the most American holidays here, have you ever wondered how Thanksgiving became one of the most beloved feasting holidays? Here to share more about Thanksgiving as we know it is the celebrity historian, Rafi Adonian. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, grateful to be here on the holiday for gratefulness, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think people just love and enjoy Thanksgiving, but can you tell us a little bit about what that first Thanksgiving kind of looked like?
Well, we often think about, Plymouth Colony, 1621, right, the Pilgrims, But really, that's kind of a myth that we come up with after the fact, centuries after the fact. Now, it is true that in Plymouth Colony, there was sharing of a harvest between the English colonists and the indigenous people, the American Indian tribes there. But it was not the first time or the only time that something like that happened. There was sharing of harvests in the past. For example, in Virginia, there was some relations, of course, between indigenous peoples and Europeans, both positive and negative. But think about Pocahontas, for example. That was years prior, and those communities did come together and share harvest as well. So there was kind of those incidents before. There are also different days of thanks that were given throughout the colonies in the 1600s. And really, you know, all that stuff has taken place 150 years before the era of the Founding Fathers, who wouldn't have really celebrated Thanksgiving the way we think of it too. So the first Thanksgiving in the U.S. is really by George Washington. He declares a proclamation for a day of thanks on the first year of the Constitution, believe it or not, so early in the Republic. And they were kind of, it was always up to a presidential proclamation each time to actually declare that Thanksgiving. So it wasn't a set holiday, it was up to the president. For example, Thomas Jefferson, a couple presidents later, didn't declare the Thanksgiving. He thought it was too much of a mixture of religion and the government. But it wasn't until Abraham Lincoln, generations later, that he declared it again to bring back Thanksgiving, again, as the country was going through a tough time. But if you want to think of Thanksgiving as we think of it today, with all those different iterations, I would draw it to Franklin Roosevelt in the era of the Great Depression and World War II. That's when we established Thanksgiving as the fourth Thursday of November, and it's officially established and not moving around and not always up to the president to declare each time. And part of the reason that it's established is because there was some lobbying by the holiday shopping folks. These are the days of the Macy's Thanksgiving parade that are starting up, of course, and all that, that to have a certain set time for Black Friday and Christmas shopping season. So Thanksgiving is very much connected to how we wanted to see Christmas shopping season and how long we wanted it to be.
Well, it's perfect to kind of see how some of those traditions kind of started up and came about. So it's great to kind of hear, you know, where we got that start.
That's right. Now, I'll just say just real quick that because it's such an American holiday, as you mentioned, these foods that I brought here today, of course, you have the squash, the sweet potato, and the green beans, all come from North America and are very American food. So as you eat the turkey and the sides, think about the fact that since you're celebrating the harvest from the Americas, which is kind of the origin story that we tell ourselves, you're celebrating an American harvest.
Well, what a great thing to think about. Chris will have a full look at our forecast when we come back. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News just after 7:17 on this Wednesday morning. We're going to start with the future track. So by noon, we've got a low pressure almost right over Newton County. And behind this, we're going to, well, let me go ahead of it. First, we're ahead of it. We're going to have south winds occasionally gusting 20, 25. Behind it, we'll have north winds gusting upwards of 25, maybe 30. We'll also have some isolated to widely scattered showers out there. So the good news is these will be done before temperatures drop tonight. So any precipitation we see will be rain. However, there's a slight, and I want to emphasize this too, it's a slight concern. In areas where maybe the rain doesn't dry as quick later this evening, as temperatures drop, that could freeze, especially on bridges and overpasses. So while it's not a major expectation by any means, just be aware if you're traveling locally tomorrow, you need to watch out for maybe some patchy black ice on bridges and overpasses. It's not a likely scenario, but it's a possibility. Because take a look at these temperatures. 5 a.m. tomorrow, we are dropping out there, so we are going to get pretty darn cold. It is going to be pretty darn cold through our Thanksgiving. We'll have partly cloudy skies, and then later in the evening, those skies will clear from west to east. We'll have another cold night, so if you're doing Black Friday shopping, make sure you're bundled up and you have some way to stay warm, because it is going to be cold early in the morning, and it's going to be pretty cold throughout most of our Black Friday. Now, this morning, we're chilly, but about 15 degrees warmer than where we were this time yesterday. We've got mostly cloudy skies, some clearing trying to get through out there. 41 in Joplin, feels like 36, and across the region we've got that east breeze right now, but again, as we get on the other side of this low, it'll shift out of the north for us. We've got upper 30s and low 40s across the region, so again, chilly, but much better than where we were 24 hours ago. Low 40s to start our day, mostly cloudy to cloudy skies, and into the low 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. Now, again, highs today, low 50s for most of us, some upper 40s in our northern counties, absolutely possible of those gusty north winds out there. With those showers between noon and 7, they'll be done by about 7. It'll be mostly cloudy by 8, partly cloudy by 10, upper 30s, partly cloudy overnight, still breezy as well. So if you're heading out, it's going to feel even colder. We're going to be in the 20s tonight. If you're traveling, cold up north, maybe even some snow around Bismarck, a little warmer out by LA, 65. You go south, of course, Phoenix, warm, 78, but even warmer in Miami at 83. Chilly temperatures in New England states, and of course, down in the southern half of the United States, looking pretty good. If you're traveling locally, rain chances are slightly higher from Kansas City to St. Louis, so right on the I-70 corridor, maybe even back into Wichita. So do keep that in mind. Watch out for those wet roadways. It's also going to be cooler, so you want to watch out for maybe some light wintry precipitation here and there. Now, south of this boundary, warmer. We're into the 60s, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Little Rock. In terms of travel delays, here's that rain band that I was just talking about right along the I-70 corridor. That shifts off to the east by late this evening and into our Thanksgiving. Now we've got moderate to major travel delays in the New England states, but for most of us across the country outside of the Northeast, no significant travel delays. Partly cloudy skies for most of our Thanksgiving, clearing late. Temperatures mostly in the 30s, eventually highs into the low 40s, and our lows Thanksgiving night back into the 20s. Still cold again on Friday, a little warmer Saturday, cold again Sunday. We'll start warming up next week, going above normal near 60 with some rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
The Fort Scott Chamber Area Foundation kicks off its Christmas on the Bricks next week. Diane Streiler and Lindsay Madison from the foundation join us this morning to share what awaits when you come to visit. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about what is Fort Scott's Christmas on the Bricks?
This is a festival that is, or a Christmas experience in the downtown Fort Scott area. It's located downtown where there's brick roads. We started last year. So it kicks off with the parade on the 5th, next Thursday, and then through the weekend, the 6th through the 8th, we have tons of activities going on down there.
Can you tell me a little bit about why you guys wanted to start this event?
Well, for the last 43 years, there has been tours of the downtown fort or the historic fort, and so we just thought we have such a unique area downtown. We just wanted to turn it into a hallmark town that everyone would enjoy, that people can come visit, which would be good for our retailers and for our local area.
Perfect. That hallmark feel is definitely something you can feel in Fort Scott. Can you tell me some of the different activities that will be available this year? And I know you guys have something extra special that's new this year.
Yeah, so the ice skating, or actually the synthetic skating rink is what is new this year. So that will be open for Christmas on the Bricks starting on Friday. Other things we have are horse-drawn carriages, we have a live nativity, we have different activities, we have like a gingerbread decorating contest. Stores are open late. We have vendors that have things that are specific to Christmas. We have, what else do we have? A paint class.
Beer and bourbon tasting is new this year. Like she said, the carriage rides will have Santa's workshop with free gift wrapping. So being the Chamber of Commerce and helping with this event, that's part of our initiative, is to help our local retailers. So if people buy gifts down there during Christmas on the Bricks, we'll have free gift wrapping and a Santa's workshop area with kids' crafts and things while their gifts are being wrapped. And just a lot of different things. We've intentionally put things in a lot of the different restaurants and businesses throughout downtown so people can kind of experience the whole area.
Okay, perfect. That sounds so exciting.
Yeah.
So if people are seeing this and they're like, yes, I definitely want to go, when is it and what time and where should they go in Fort Scott?
Well, the kickoff is Thursday for the parade, and then starting Friday evening, a lot of the activities start that night. So the carriage rides will be both Friday and Saturday night. There's an outdoor movie Friday night. But to find out about everything, you can go onto the Chamber website, which is fortscott.com, and go under the event tab, and it'll show you everything on Christmas on the Bricks. So there are some things that you can pre-sign up for, but you'll see the whole calendar of everything going on.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Diane and Lindsay, for joining us. Like they just said, if you'd like to learn more about this, you can visit their website at fortscott.com/Christmas on the Bricks. We'll have more news and weather when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Samantha Walker. The kids at Fairview Elementary in Carthage got a head start on Thanksgiving with their own version of the Macy's Parade. The kids learned about the history of the parade, and then instead of the traditional balloons, the kids displayed their original pictures of their favorite book characters. The Fairview Balloon Parade is the brainchild of a second grade teacher.
Share with their families about the history of the parade and that they'll watch it on Thanksgiving. I also hope that they'll take a love of reading from this, because in my class we read a lot, and I know that all the other classes read a lot.
This is the third year of the Fairview Balloon Parade. The Neosho Farmers Market teamed up with some community partners to get into the holiday spirit as well. Yesterday afternoon, the public could come out to the market and take advantage of the Thanksgiving Table Market, an event featuring local, farm fresh, and scratch-made goodness for anybody's Thanksgiving table. Visitors could pre-order an array of menu items such as entrees, side dishes, baked goods, and more to be picked up today. For those who missed the pre-order window, visitors also had the opportunity to shop a wide selection of fresh-made items such as jellies and fillings, as well as holiday centerpieces. There are many places during a holiday serving up a free holiday meal. Scan this QR code on your screen and head over to our events page on KOAMnewsnow.com for a list of places hosting free Thanksgiving Day dinners. Keep in mind some places may require sign-ups before you can attend, so check in with the host organization to make sure. While you're on our events page, make sure and check out all of the other events happening in and around the area. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
We've got those mostly cloudy skies out there. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh, and you can see we are getting some sunshine, but it is staying mostly cloudy. Same from the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line. Clouds out there, but at least a little sunlight trying to get through. Future track, we have a low pressure off to our west, or more so our southwest. It'll track east and eventually be almost right over Newton-McDonald County by noon today. Ahead of it, we'll have southerly winds. Could gust upwards of 20 to 25. Behind it, we'll have northerly winds gusting 25 to 30, and we'll start to see some isolated to widely scattered showers as we head through the afternoon and into the evening. Now, those will come to a close by about 7, so as you can see, it'll still be warm enough that any rain that falls will be rain, which is some good news. We're sitting at 41 in both Joplin and Pittsburgh this morning, and around the area, we've been hovering in the upper 30s and low 40s across the regions. Not a bad start to the day. All of us about 15 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. Well, mostly cloudy to cloudy skies through the day. Most of us should reach highs in the low 50s, but some upper 40s absolutely possible, especially in our northern counties. While those isolated scattered showers through about 7, and then skies will clear up just a wee bit late this evening into the overnight, and then it's going to get downright cold. We'll have another look at your forecast talking about Thanksgiving, and of course your forecast, your travel forecast rather, for today here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thank you, Chris. A ceasefire agreement is now in effect between Israel and Lebanon's and Iran-backed Hezbollah group. The deal comes after nearly a year of fighting, which started after Hamas's October 7th attacks in Israel. The truce doesn't address the ongoing war in Gaza with Hamas. While the West is hailing the deal as a victory and a path towards peace in the Middle East, locals in the region are far more distrustful. Fox News' national correspondent Jeff Paul has the story.
Mixed reactions in Lebanon after Israel approved a U.S.-brokered ceasefire agreement with the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah. While some celebrated and welcomed the news,
we are happy because we will return to our country and homeland in the south.
Others were more distrustful, especially as Israeli airstrikes continued bombarding Hezbollah targets in Beirut. The IDF even issuing evacuation orders for the city just moments after the ceasefire was approved.
I don't believe it, the ceasefire. Israel can't be trusted. I don't believe it.
Similar reactions in Israel, where many still fear Hezbollah could continue attacking the northern border.
It is still not safe to return to our homes because Hezbollah is still close to us and any missile can do damage.
Under the deal, the IDF must withdraw from Lebanon and Hezbollah has to move farther north. Lebanon's army will then create a buffer near the border along with UN peacekeepers. But it remains to be seen if the deal can really end nearly 14 months of fighting.
Let me be clear. If Hezbollah or anyone else breaks the deal and poses a direct threat to Israel, then Israel retains the right to self-defense.
President Biden has hailed the truce as good news. He's also vowing to renew efforts for a ceasefire in Gaza, where Hamas still holds more than 100 hostages.
Just as the Lebanese people deserve a future of security and prosperity, so do the people of Gaza.
Both sides will have 2 months to carry out the terms of the ceasefire agreement. Jeff Paul, Fox News.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. An Alaskan woman is on a mission to help her neighbors celebrate Thanksgiving this year. But before we head to break, there's a live look from the Marsh Arch Bridge in Humboldt, Kansas. The Pittsburgh area of Young Professionals is asking for your help to provide bikes to area youth this Christmas season. Matt O'Malley and Becca Harlan are with us this morning to explain how you can help. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Can you tell us a little bit about what this Christmas bike drive is?
So the Christmas Bike Drive is an initiative that Matt O'Malley started 3 years ago for Pittsburgh area young professionals. It's very important to me. Whenever I woke up 7 years old, Christmas morning to a bike, that was the best thing. So we're just trying to make sure that other children can do that as well.
Perfect. So what was kind of the push to kind of create this drive?
The young professionals were looking for a signature project, something that we could really be known for in the community. And we all just got to thinking about that moment that we've had on Christmas morning and how special that is and how great would it be if we could actually help other kids in the area have that moment.
Perfect. So it's got to be very meaningful knowing that you can have that impact.
Yes.
Yes.
So are there certain kinds of bikes or that you're looking for?
Well, so the Salvation Army is a partner with us, and children from low resource families is who gets the bikes this Christmas. And so it's lots of kids of lots of different ages. A new bike costs us on average about $100. And so, you know, the little kids' bikes are a little less expensive than that. The teens' bikes get up to about $130, $140. But yeah, we'll buy all sorts of different size bikes.
Amazing. Is there a certain goal you guys are hoping to try to reach this year?
We aim really high every year. We try to at least, our goal is always 100, but right now, you know, we're just trying to beat last year. So we're really trying for 50. That would be awesome. So we're at 2,200 right now. So we're almost halfway to our goal, and then hopefully we'll be able to beat last year and buy 50 bikes for Crawford County kids.
Amazing. So if people want to get involved and they want to help support this cause, because it sounds like a great cause, what are some, ways that they can help make that donation?
So there's several ways to give. People could send in cash or check to the Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce. Like I said, a new bike averages about $100. We're grateful for any donation. But if somebody wanted to purchase a full bike for a local kid, that would be about $100. Another way is to actually give to us on Venmo at Pitt Area YP.
Okay, perfect. And are you guys holding any sort of event associated with this as well?
So we just do the bike drive, just word of mouth basically, and then we pick up the bikes from Walmart on Friday, December 13th.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Matt and Becca, for joining us this morning. Chris will have a full look at your forecast plus Consumer Watch when we come back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:41, almost 7:42 now on this Wednesday morning, and we are closing in on Thanksgiving, so we got to talk about that, and that's what we will do. First today, though, ahead of this low-pressure system that's currently off to our south and west, which will eventually track slightly east-northeast, we're going to have south winds, occasionally gusting 20-25. Behind this, we get north winds gusting 25-30. We will also have an opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered showers as we head through the afternoon and into the evening. These will be done by 7, so it'll be done raining, and I want to emphasize raining by about 7. It'll be warm enough when any of this precipitation is falling that it should be rain. The only slight concern we have is the rain, if it doesn't dry out fast enough before temperatures drop tonight, could freeze on bridges and overpasses, creating some patchy black ice. It's not a very likely scenario. The rain should dry up by tonight, but if it doesn't and you're traveling locally, do keep that in mind because it is going to be downright cold tonight, and it is going to be pretty darn chilly as we head into our Thanksgiving. In fact, where we're sitting right now with our temperatures is about as warm as many of us are going to make it to for Thanksgiving. So do keep that in mind. We'll have partly cloudy skies through most of the day. Skies clearing later in the evening and overnight. Now Friday, if you're Black Friday shopping, It's going to be cold. In fact, it's going to be colder Friday morning. So if you're camping out or whatever the case may be, just make sure you're planning accordingly. And even if you're not, let's say you're shopping later in the day, it's not going to be much better later in the day. So just be prepared. Make sure you're bundled up. And if you aren't, then perhaps finding a good coat on Black Friday is not a bad idea. 41 in Joplin. Skies mostly cloudy, getting some sunlight in there. Feels like 36. And around the region, we've been kind of just sitting upper 30s and low 40s. That's where we are going to be, at least for a little bit. We'll start to see some warming trend out there as well. So through the morning, again, mostly cloudy to straight up cloudy skies. We'll start low 40s, low 50s by 11. Highs today for most of us into the low 50s, but some may only make the upper 40s, especially our northern counties. And those north winds getting gusty out there with those isolated to scattered showers. They come to a close at 7, still cloudy by 8. Partly cloudy by 10, 39, overnight lows into the 20s, and it's going to be breezy tonight and tomorrow as well, so keep that in mind. If you're traveling, we've got maybe some snow up into North Dakota around Bismarck. We're talking 20s up there, some fog, clouds over in Los Angeles. West Coast, not too bad, a little on the cool side. That's that low pressure system I was talking about. Down south, look at this, 80s into Texas and into Miami, and up into the Northeast, New England states, a little bit on the chilly side as well. If you're traveling locally, Wichita, Kansas City, St. Louis, the better chances for more steady rainfall out there. And with it being pretty chilly in Kansas City, there might be even a light wintry mix here and there. That's if you're traveling north. If you are traveling south, it'll be cloudy, but for most of the day, you'll be ahead of that boundary, so you'll be hanging out in the 60s. There's that rain. So we have some minor travel delays as we head through today, and that'll shift off to our east by later this evening. And then as we head into Thanksgiving, really the main travel concerns are in the New England states, where we'll have moderate to major concerns, and those will continue through Thanksgiving with the rest of us doing all right. Back on the local level, again, most of the day in the 30s. We'll eventually make some low 40s, but it's going to be cold, breezy, lows back into the 20s. We will warm up by next week, but we have to get through Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Still pretty chilly, and even Monday, shower chances Tuesday and Wednesday, and near 60 Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let's check your forecast. Now here's Samantha with Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. American consumers have a more positive outlook for the economy, as the latest index reading from the Conference Board shows an uptake of 0.4 percentage points, the highest level since July of 2023. Compared to October, consumers were also substantially more optimistic about future job availability, which reached its highest level in almost 3 years. The FBI is warning of persistent scams that crop up through the holidays when people are out celebrating and willing to spend. High online shopping activity is one way. A McCaffrey study says 36% of Americans fall victim to a holiday online shopping scam. Phone scams for charities may try to solicit through donations by phone or email or crowdfunding. Cryptocurrency is seeing fraudsters posing as fake trusted individuals soliciting investing through a fake platform. And traveling for the holidays brings a lot of stresses, and here's what grinds on your getaways the most. Harman, the makers of JBL audio products, surveyed Americans on what bugs them when they travel for the holidays, especially when flying. Most of the answers dealt with space crowding or noises. 29% says it's when someone reclines their seat all the way back. 27% are ticked when travelers don't use headphones or earbuds. And for 18%, it's misplacing important documents and losing luggage or a phone. And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Thanksgiving is just around the corner.
And a woman from Alaska is airdropping turkeys to her neighbors and others who live in a more isolated area.
Casey Mankel has more.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's both? That's Esther Sanderlin, loading frozen Thanksgiving turkeys onto her plane and dropping them off to her neighbors in Skwetna and others in the region who live off the road system.
During the freeze up, you can't really get around. So you can't travel out there, but you can fly.
This is Esther's third year doing her turkey bombs. making sure those living off the grid aren't left out for Thanksgiving.
One weekend, and I was visiting our newest neighbor, and they were talking about splitting a squirrel 3 ways for dinner and how that didn't really go very far. And I just had a thought at that moment, you know what? I'm gonna drop them a turkey for Thanksgiving, because I recently rebuilt my first airplane with my dad. And so I could do that really easily.
She got the idea after growing up in Squetna.
We had a friend, a neighbor, that would airdrop turkeys to my family and to other families in the neighborhood.
Esther hopes to turn this mission into a nonprofit.
My vision with this is to reach farther parts of Alaska, because there are so many families that live rural, that live off the grid.
This year, she is dropping about 30 to 40 turkeys. And for those wondering if this bruises the bird.
And they're all frozen, so some people are like, does this hurt the turkey? Is it like tenderized? Or, they're all frozen. They literally just bounce off the ground. Or if it's on the ice, they bounce off the ice. Or if we're low, they'll just roll like a bowling ball.
It's all in an effort to ensure that no one is forgotten, even when living off the grid.
Now, I know there's one thing we've been talking about all morning when it comes to this story.
WKRP's turkey drop. That's all I could think about as soon as we heard about this story yesterday. That's all I could think about. And thankfully, her turkeys were frozen, but the ones in there were alive and went through windshields and landed on people. It was a chaotic scene. And the best line is, "As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly." They cannot. But if you are flying, well, you'll do all right for traveling here. But if you're not, if you're driving, we got some things to talk about real quick. On the future track, we've got a low pressure off to our southwest. By noon, it'll be shifting into southwestern Missouri. We'll get gusty north winds on the backside of it. And we'll also have isolated to widely scattered showers out there, so something to contend with. Nothing crazy, and not everyone will see rain, but we will have that opportunity as we head into the afternoon hours. A quick look at temperatures around the region. We've been hovering. There's that low pressure, by the way, that spin off to our southwest. Upper 30s and low 40s out there. So we go through the morning, low 40s, low 50s by 11 o'clock, mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. Isolated showers, highs for most of us, low 50s, but some of us may only make the upper 40s. Rain stops by 7. We'll go partly cloudy by 10, and overnight still breezy out there. Lows back into the 20s. We'll have one more look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Missouri judge rules a law banning some medical procedures for transgender minors is constitutional. Monday's ruling upheld a new state law that bans some gender-affirming health care for minors, such as surgery and medications. Missouri is among at least 26 states adopting laws restricting or banning gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors, including Arkansas and Oklahoma. Lambda Legal and the ACLU of Missouri says they plan to appeal the ruling. Delaware County, Oklahoma authorities are looking for answers in an apparent double murder-suicide involving a mother and her 2 children. The 3 bodies were discovered in an abandoned vehicle over the weekend. Authorities now say the mother, Alicia Pena of Tulsa, shot her 2 children before shooting herself. Authorities are still investigating what brought the family to the Grand Lake area. And Neosho, Missouri firefighters could be better protected thanks to a $10,000 grant. The Newton County Public Safety Grant is to buy an extractor washer and dryer for removing hazardous contaminants from gear. This will help protect the firefighters from exposure to toxins that can lead to cancer.
And we've got ourselves temperatures into the low 50s for most of us, some upper 40s in our northern counties possible. Mostly cloudy to cloudy skies, gusty north winds, and some isolated to widely scattered showers between noon and 7 p.m. So those will wrap up before it gets too cold tonight. Partly cloudy, still breezy, back into the 20s for our overnight lows. And by Thanksgiving, it's going to be colder yet. Upper 30s, low 40s, still breezy out there. And if you're doing Black Friday shopping, bundle up. We're talking talking low 20s to start the Black Friday shopping day. We'll only make the upper 30s, low 40s again. A little warmer Saturday, colder on Sunday. Showers Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and temperatures going above normal for the first week of December, going into the upper 50s, near 60s. So we're going to go from very cold to very warm as our roller coaster ride continues.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, the San Diego Zoo Safari Park is showing off a rare and colorful turkey that's related to the American turkey, but with a big difference. Video shows a female ocellated turkey showing its colorful blue and green metallic looking feathers.
Now, the term ocellated refers to eye-like circular markings that can be seen on animals. Wildlife experts say that ocellated turkeys are found in the Yucatan Peninsula in southeastern Mexico, as well as in sections of northern Belize and northern Guatemala. So some colorful turkeys out there.
I mean, I think what a festive way to celebrate the holidays. It's like you dressed up for tomorrow.
It certainly is. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put good into your morning. We're back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.